Yesterday, when we took the doggos for a walk, I shared a story with you about how that morning I rolled out of bed and the alarm went off. First thing we had to do was take our daughter to school, but the first thought I had was I took my mask off and I was like, man, that sun is so amazingly bright in this room. It's such a beautiful day. And I thought, this all happened within 20 seconds. I'm not talking about a full-on, morning ritual or anything like that. These were just my first automatic thoughts. And I thought, I have so many things I want to work on today. I have so much stuff I have to get done for our business, for the podcast, for our family. And I was so excited to go do all the stuff and just get the day started. And I hopped out of bed with a little bit of a pep in my step, which
Yeah.
is not my norm, as you know. I'm not a good morning person.
No, I know.
So I was reflecting back on how I was able to get out of bed like that, because that's never been a thing for me. And I was reflecting back years ago when I would roll over, wake up, my alarm would go off, and my thoughts were not that positive. They were like, ugh.
Yeah.
Did I just wake up again to this life that I have to get out of bed and go live and do the things that I don't want to do?
Because you were depressed.
I was severely depressed. I was fighting anxiety, depression, suicidal thoughts every day, all day. It was a battle.
Yeah.
And I never in a million years at that time would have thought that someday I would be able to wake up and have those feelings of being excited to get my day started and work on the things I want to work on.
Yeah, that's an amazing feeling.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And it set the tone for my whole day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I just never thought that those feelings were available to me because I had never experienced it before.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
And what makes you think that trigger those emotions or that emotion that morning?
Well, I mean, it's a culmination of many things for the past 2 years of all the hard work that I've been putting in to myself and working on me. But we had also just gotten back from the Silva Method seminar in San Diego, California, which was hosted by Divine Grace. She was fantastic.
Oh, yeah, she was awesome.
And it was a 4-day seminar.
4-day immersion. I think they break it in two parts, like the Silva Life system and the Silva Intuition system.
That's right.
So it's 2 days and 2 days. We did both. Was from 9 to 7 p.m. Was amazing. And I think came after being there for 4 days in San Diego, doing all this meditation, connecting with all the people.
Yeah. Learning the tools and techniques.
That kind of really gives you, I think,
a boost.
A boost or so.
I needed the reset, though. We both did, for sure.
Yeah, I needed it too, because when you sent me the link, when you found it, and then you're like, hey, Ken, there's a Silva method in San Diego.
Yeah.
And when I saw it, I was like, oh, wow, yeah, we need this.
Yeah.
I need this. I took it personal.
Yeah.
And when I saw her name Divine, for some reason, it clicked. Something gave me a good vibe from far away.
Yeah.
Well, we're not too far, but like 350 miles or so.
Yeah.
But still, it's not like she's my neighbor. But yeah, I was reading about it, about the whole thing, and it was just like, this kind of feels right. This is after I lost my job, looking like, okay, how can I keep me motivated? And, I need to move forward.
Yeah, gain clarity. Focus.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So it was awesome. It was great. Exhausting, but was great again. Yeah. And I feel like now I approach life in a different way. My meditations or my prayers has a different meaning now. I feel more aligned. I feel more productive, even though I know it's just been 2 days or so since we came back. But I feel like my engine is ready to go, which is great.
Yeah, she was fantastic. She really did a great job of instructing the class and telling her stories that I think people could relate to. And she the tools and techniques that she was teaching, through her stories made it sound more achievable, made it sound like, we can all do this. We all have this ability to use these tools and techniques. And I think that was really important for her to instill in people, because some of the people in the room were new to the work and brand new. Actually, one of the men there said that he had never meditated before.
Yeah.
And he was there with his wife also, and he was facing something new in his life, different. It was retirement, I guess.
Yeah.
So he was just looking for clarity and purpose, I think. And she did a great job of being all inclusive of all walks of life and teaching the things.
Yeah. This thought just came to me.
Mm-hmm.
I know we've been talking about meditation, and for a lot of people, meditation sounds like, what the heck? Like, I have no time to meditate. Like,
right.
What are you talking about, meditate?
Yeah.
But we've been meditating for so long, but we just don't know. We just don't, if you go back.
You just don't call it
you just don't call it
meditation
meditation
because you're not aware that that's what it actually is.
If we go back years ago, we've been praying for so long. And for me, prayer is some sort of a / meditation. If you really go back to, I don't know, tribes or the Indians or so, they used to, their gods were the stars or the moon, and they used to dance, and they used to do all these things. How come that we need it, to celebrate, to gather around the fire and look at the stars and kind of connect with something? You know what I mean? And expect what they were expecting. They were expecting rain. They were expecting God, whatever God they were believing back then, to show up, to bring hope, to bring power, to bring, I don't know, food or animals. I don't know what the heck they were thinking back then, but there was some sort of meditation happening.
Yeah.
Some sort of channeling, for them to really thrive.
Right.
In their tribes.
Yeah. And the thing is, like you say, like, prayer is like along the same lines of meditation for you, is that's your experience. And that's the thing is, so many people pray, but they would never say, oh, I meditate. But prayer, is a form of meditation, but that's exactly kind of what the Silva method is teaching you how to do, is how to hone those skills and make it more impactful. Because so many people pray, but they don't get what they want. And their life isn't unfolding the way they want it to, because they're not using the proper techniques and tools. They're just saying, oh, I hope I get this, or I wish for that, or I wish for health, or I wish for, money or a relationship. But that's not the proper techniques.
They are doing it without intention, and they don't even know it.
Right.
Because if you go right now into a prayer or whatever, you're just gonna say, "Oh man, I wish I just like meet someone."
Right.
But are you really setting the intention?
Right.
You think that you are like setting the intention, but you're not. You're just kind of throwing words out there. But if you're like, man, you know what? I know I want to meet someone, my soulmate or whatever, or today I'm going to get a good job. I'm going to get a call. I know I can feel it. So you put that intention in the universe, just like the Indians used to do it back then near the fire. They were just setting up their intentions, And when you do that, when you know how to do it, and with the Silva training, she taught us some techniques where you kind of basically focus, in your inner mind, and how to connect with source or God or whatever you believe in, to really accomplish things,
in a state of mind that we're all capable of.
Yeah.
And just to back up a second, but I just wanted to give a quick synopsis of what the Silva training actually is, just to
clarify.
Yeah, clarify. It's essentially like a system for training your mind through meditation, visualization, and other mental exercises in order to improve clarity, intuition, creativity, focus, and decision-making, and so many other things.
Yep.
So it's just, again, a method and tools and techniques of how to hone your skill in order to be able to create a life that you truly love. versus just letting it unfold. That was our main purpose for being there is that.
Yeah. And it's great because, again, like when I close my eyes, I'm going with full intention now. Okay, again, what are you creating? Everything that has been created in the world was a thought at some point.
Yeah.
So again, we're just going to basics.
Yeah.
Think deeper. Get the ideas flowing, And so I think after Silva, I think, that we just have a great tools to accomplish a lot of things, and I feel excited about it.
Yeah, same. And Ken, I was really hoping that I don't know if you want to discuss this story, but I'm going to kind of put you on the spot. I was hoping that you would share the story that you shared with me about this very podcast.
Oh. All right. So one of the meditations that we did with Divine in San Diego was to basically just about to really go into a meditative state and to think, what's your life purpose?
Yeah, that was a good one.
And, well, you're sitting there, all the phones are in airplane mode or so, and you're just basically, meditating, thinking, okay, what's your life purpose? And then she was saying the whole time, if it feels like it's made up, that's actually the right answer.
Correct. Yeah.
So, and then I'm like going into my deep meditation, thinking and, try to think of like, what's my life purpose? And I couldn't, the only word that showed up for some reason was podcast.
Yeah.
And I wrote it down. Okay, podcast. Some other words or some other ideas came to me, and then she was saying, okay, just write it down. Whatever is coming to your mind,
Even if I think what you're getting at is like, even if it felt forced, like,
even if it feels forced,
like,
correct.
Oh, this should be my answer. She said, no, just write down whatever comes to your mind. So the word came in and you wrote it down.
And I wrote it down. Yeah. I was just, And again, and here I am recording another episode, hoping to guide and help others and share my story, share our story. That's the main reason.
I'm going to push you a little deeper on that one, though, because you're glazing over the fact that I want to get to. So when we took a break after that exercise, I'm talking to Ken and I'm asking, so what came up for you? And he showed me like his list of words or notes that he wrote down. And the first one was podcasts. And I thought, did you really come up with that? Or are you writing that to kind of appease me? And you said no. You said no. That was the first word that came up for me, right?
Yeah.
So it was like an authentic feeling, which of course got me excited because as I've told you, I'm feeling like a little resistance with you, like whether or not you want to go on this journey with me for the podcast.
Yeah, no, it's always a fear that, for anything, not only the podcast, for anything, right?
Right, the unknown.
Even if you get a new job, you're going to be nervous the first week.
Yeah.
Even if you have experienced 20 years, because I worked with people that had, was working in another field or another industry for 20 years, and they showed up to the office and I'm seeing them and they look just like little babies. They don't know, they're awkward, you know what I mean? They're just, they're smart, but they're nervous. They don't know the system. They don't know, you know what I mean? The flow. So even if you have tons of experience, you always have this kind of fear in the beginning. Same with the business. If you're selling stuff, you're like hoping, okay, I'm going to open the doors, but I hope that I sell my stuff, my products or my services. So with the podcast, like, well, now I'm going to be recording for hours, editing and sharing my life with strangers or whatever. And like, I don't know, what am I doing this? But something is telling me, hey, just do it.
I think there's a difference there. Something else we were talking about this morning is there's like an inner knowing versus an inner hoping.
Yeah.
Like, just like when we were moving to Arizona, how many times I hoped to be able to move to Arizona because my mom was out here throughout like 10 years. I was like hoping someday, like I'm going to move to Arizona. I was, someday that's what I want.
Yeah.
But when we decided that this is what we need to do to improve our lives, and we decided that this is the path we need to be on, it was an inner knowing, and it felt different this time, that time. it felt different, like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing versus this is what I want to do.
Right.
And it sounds very basic when I put it into words, but like in my mind, it's like a click that just made all the difference. Like, oh, okay, this is what we're doing now versus that's just something I want.
Mm-hmm.
So I have that with the podcast. I have the same fears of, are we just wasting our time here? Like editing, recording, and putting all this time and effort into it. Of course, those fears creep in for me. But ultimately, I have this inner knowing that we're just doing it this time. We're just doing it. And actually, throughout the 4-day weekend, I felt that same inner knowing. And I got clarification, and I got people there that we met in the group. I kind of got validation through them.
Yeah.
They weren't even aware that they were validating me or us, but they did through their actions and through their words. They were validating that we need to be doing this. This is the work that we need to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, we're just acting with more intention and less guessing per se. So you're kind of, hey, just do it.
Just do it. Just
move.
Just keep doing the steps that you need to do to get to the goal. Just keep taking the next step, even if you don't know what it is. Yeah, it's like you just keep going.
Yeah, if it doesn't work, move on to the next.
Right.
Because now you kind of have like another experience, right?
Yeah.
So that was awesome. Was actually very, very great.
Do you want to talk about like the stories of the people that validated things for us?
Sure.
One of the big moments, I guess, was on the last day, on Sunday, you kind of raised your hand and just started talking.
Oh, no. Okay, no. What happened was just like, Divine was like, you guys are so quiet.
Oh, yeah.
So everyone was kind of quiet. I think we have like a mix of believers and non-believers. You know what I mean? I think, again, like...
Well, I think at that point, everybody was believing.
No, yeah, absolutely.
But walking in, there was uncertainty.
Those that are still like trying to understand the whole process, understand the whole meditation techniques,
concepts.
Going deeper, the concepts, going deeper into your inner you and connect to the universe or God or the source or whatever, try to kind of put all those thoughts together. And the energy, and again, it was exhausting. So many hours,
Yeah, it was a lot of mental work.
Oh yeah, our brain was fried. But then I kind of wanted to share our story a little bit, because I feel like, again, our stories always kind of bring some sort of like, there's like we put like a light on people's path.
Yeah.
So that was my intention. But I don't remember. What did I say?
Well, first of all, I'd like to preface that with is usually when you and I go to seminars and different things like that, we kind of keep to ourselves.
Yeah, we're reserved.
We're very reserved and quiet, and we talk to each other, of course, but we don't put ourselves in the spotlight. Like that's just not who we are. So I don't know. You just started talking about.
I think I said something about, for those that are still kind of trying to understand the concept about meditation and about to really, make things happen. Just trust the process and do it. Because
yeah, that's right.
We're actually doing it.
Yeah, you were giving a little bit of our story.
Yeah, we're meditating. We're working on our projects, and the things are unfolding. And Divine, or through the Silva training, she's like giving us all the tools to do it. Like, hey, just do it.
Yeah.
Believe in yourself. We've been researching this for a long time, the Silva method. And there is like millions of students, sharing their stories with their achievements and goals and things that changed, their lives. And for instance, one of them you just said, when you got up in the morning and you like felt this is a new day.
Right.
Could be coincidence, yes, but
no,
doesn't matter, because you went through the training, you did the work, and now you're like seeing life with a different eyes, I guess. Right?
Yeah. And you were telling people how that we've been doing the work for at least 2 years, and through the work that we've been doing, the different things that we've been able to manifest.
Yeah.
One of them, there was a few that you mentioned.
One of them is, again, for all this is also related to the law of attraction, uh, which I think I said that I wrote my letter of resignation back in December
Mhm.
because, again, part of me was like also done with the company. I wasn't even looking for them to fire me or anything like that. I was very committed to the company from Monday through Sunday, emailing on the weekends and answering calls at night,
Mhm.
like crazy, very devoted to the company. But as part of me was like, hey, this chapter needs to end because I have to move on. I need to level up or there's more for me,
Yeah.
So then I decided to write a letter of resignation in December. It didn't have a date. This is the story that I was telling everyone that was there.
Mhm.
And then in January, I decided to put a date on it.
Mhm.
And I typed the date, was well written. All I needed to do was just print it.
Yeah.
So then I put a date on it. I think it was February 13th, I think.
Mhm.
And it was like on the February 6th. And
Yeah.
everyone was just looking at me like, what?
Yeah.
And again, it was just the work that I was doing all 2025, trying to like work on the business and on our business, trying to make things happen. I feel trapped on my job.
Yeah.
You know, I wanted to work on the podcast and it was so hard, to work at night because again, I was just fully drained. And also we talked about how you used to be depressed and through
Mhm.
meditation and through all the techniques that
Yeah,
that you've been doing.
you kindly threw me under the bus with that one because that's not something I generally speak about,
Yeah.
with more than 1 or 2 people listening. I don't care, but, like, all of a sudden, we're in this group. There was 13, 14 people, whatever, in the room, and Ken said, "My wife overcame, like, her depression and anxiety," and I was like, everybody turned around and looked at me, and I was like, "Oh, we're going there,
Yeah.
are we?" But
Yeah.
it was such a helpful comment because then other people were, well, it was a helpful conversation, I should say, not just the comment, but everybody, then is asking you about your job and how that made you feel, and whether you thought you kind of manifested that or were you shocked, and the different feelings that went along with that. And then they were also intrigued about my story and about getting rid of, depression, anxiety. And there were a bunch of people that were very interested in that because so many people struggle with those
Yeah.
things. It's such a deep struggle for everyone. Not everyone, but for a lot of people. And if it's not you, then it's somebody else that is struggling with a deep sadness or an anxiety disorder or whatever. So their reactions and their questions and their comments to our stories,
Their eyes were wide
yeah,
open.
wide open, and couldn't believe, some of the things that we were
Yeah.
talking and telling them of our story, and what we've manifested. And they just were not, I don't want to say in awe, they were in awe, but they were just
Very intrigued.
engaged, intrigued, of they wanted to hear more. So it really drove home the fact that people need to hear this stuff.
Mhm. They need to
People
hear it.
want to hear this.
And that's what I thought, like, hey, they need to hear it.
Mhm.
They need to hear it.
We have so much information that could move people's lives forward, and it
Mhm.
would be like if we weren't discussing it and sharing it with other people, like, we're doing people a disservice, I feel
Mhm.
like.
Mhm.
You
Exactly.
could take it or leave it. If you wanna listen or don't wanna listen, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
whatever you need or want, I'm, you know, all for
Yeah.
that. But if we're not sharing it for the people that do wanna hear it, I feel like that's a disservice, because we have overcome so much and because we have been able to create a life that we really love.
Yeah.
And we were not in this place years
No.
ago.
Oh, no.
I mean, this was a lot of intentional work that we've done
Yeah.
and a lot of pushing
Yeah.
through the shit.
Yeah. And we enjoy being together. We enjoy being with our family. We enjoy so many things that we see life so differently
Yeah.
than before.
Yep.
And you just have to do the work. You just have to commit.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
just have to kind of really try to get out of the hole. You have all the power. I always kind of feel like the morning is a good like a starting point. Well, it's the morning. The day is starting.
You don't have a choice but to start.
Choose but to start. Yeah. But if you set up your intention in the morning, if you set up your intentions in the morning, a few things. I know some people don't even have time. They just get up and they just say, hey, I gotta go to work. Hey, in the shower while you're shaving or whatever, brushing your teeth, set up your intentions. Start there. That's going to really, things are going to start changing. You're not going to see it the first week. After a while, you're going to start seeing changes because your intention just changed.
Right.
Now you're not this guy going on the freeway thinking like, oh my God, there's so much traffic.
Yeah.
You're expecting now that everything is going to be good.
Yeah.
And or maybe that week they're going to buy lunches for everyone. They're going to say $15, whatever you spend every day. Little things you're going to see. You have to
look for the things.
Little things, and then you amplify that.
Right.
Stupid little things. Someone says, you're looking good. Hey, thank you. Take it. Don't say, really?
No, I didn't. I didn't like how my hair came out today. Like,
no.
Nope. Yeah,
Embrace
thank you.
It. Hey, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All those things are going to come to you. And then before you know it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. Something's happening. Things are changing.
Yeah.
And then go pick up a good book or pick up a good podcast. So you can get yourself into, hey, no, I'm changing my life.
Yeah.
I'm changing my life.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to happen just overnight, but I'm changing my life.
Yep. So
the power is within you. So, and that's why we kind of thought to share the story with the guys at the Silva training.
Yeah, and another instance that happened to me while we were there that really kind of solidified this feeling of I'm doing the right thing. This is what I should be doing. Was one of the gentlemen who I was paired off with in one of the groups that we were doing. Was very he was there with his wife again, and he was very quiet and kind of stoic and reserved, and I could tell he was, I think I mentioned earlier, he was the one that had never meditated before.
Yeah.
So so I was paired off with him, and I think he was a little just still apprehensive about doing all of this work, but he was there, he was showing up and doing the work and doing the thing. And we got done with our exercise early, and we were having this conversation about, he was just asking me questions about work I had been doing. And I was telling him I've been doing all this inner work for the past 2 years and meditating, visualizing, hypnotherapy, healing, all this different stuff. And I said to him, since I've started this, it's completely changed the person that I am. From 2 years ago to today, I'm a completely different person. I said,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I'm healed and I have no more problems or anything like that. No, of course, like I still have my down days. I still feel like crap. I still ruminate on things I shouldn't be ruminating on and all that stuff. But I said, I'm off all medications. My anxiety is really in check.
Yeah.
My depression is mostly gone. I wouldn't say I have it anymore, but of course it can come and go in spurts, and I get moments of sadness, but they're much shorter lived than it ever used to be by an exponential amount. And he was just so sincere, and he was like, thank you so much for sharing that story. That gives me so much hope to hear from you, from someone who's had so much success with this work, because he was still questioning it and uncertain.
And you're always questioning. Your brain is going to go question. It goes to the negative path. This is BS. This is woo-woo. This is like,
woo-woo, exactly. That's what I used to think.
This is like, come on. This is like we are living it.
Yeah.
Changes.
Right. And I was like, oh, well, that was nice for him to comment that, because I was just really trying to pass the time because I didn't want things to get uncomfortable and sit there in silence. But I was like, oh, that was nice of him to be appreciative that I shared my story. I was just kind of talking. And then on the last day, I already told you, Ken, but his wife came up to me, who she had like a really thick Russian accent, and she caught me totally off guard because I hadn't even really spoken to her all weekend. But she was thanking me for having this conversation with her husband and saying that it really helped him.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, really?
Yeah.
Like, I was totally thrown off guard. I was like, yeah, of course. And I was kind of like stuttering over my words. And I was like, is she really saying that? Like, I was like, it was kind of like, I don't want to say it.
You wasn't expecting
I
it.
was not expecting it.
Yeah.
I didn't think I had thought I had zero impact on him, this nice man. But she was there. There was his wife complimenting me and thanking me for, just having this deeper conversation with him and helping him even a little smidge on his journey.
Yeah.
And I took that to heart, and I was just like, that is what fuels me. That fills me with so much joy to know that I helped that man even a smidge to help him understand that, this is available to all of us.
Yeah, to all of us. Oh, yeah. So you can make the changes right in there. You don't need money. You don't need fancy cars. You don't need anything. And you just, hey, you know what? You just need you are one decision away. I'm changing my life right now.
Yep.
And I know you don't know where you're going. I know there's uncertainty. I know that the problems are not going to be solved just like that. No, but there's a start. Just start right there. Hey, I'm changing my life. Just to commit to that.
Right.
I'm changing my life. Maybe there's not a change, but maybe to meet the right person, or maybe to heal physically. And you know what? I'm going to heal. I'm going to find a way to how to heal. So there's
whatever
always
your
a way.
intention is.
Your intention, just put faith in it and, and
believe that it's happening.
Yeah, that it's happening. And so we just wanted to share our experience with the Silva Life system and Silva Intuition system that we experienced. No, actually, we graduated.
Yes, we are graduates. That's correct.
Yeah, very proud.
Yeah, so anyways, the Silva method used for healing, goal achievement, decision-making, mental clarity, all of those things really, really helped us gain some clarity and some direction on where we want to go, and just solidified things for us that we are on the right path and we are doing the right thing because we can do whatever we want in this life. So that is our takeaway from it. Highly recommend 5 stars.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we loved it. Just commit to yourself that things are going to change, and they will start changing just as the things are changing for us.
Right. One decision away.
All right. So we'll see you the next time.
All right. Bye. Hey there. If you like this episode, please like, share, and join our community. And check out our website at kenandkimpodcast.com for free tools and resources. We'll talk to you next time.